Mr. Beard here with your class recap for November 7th, 2011. We began today by recapping what we read in the Odyssey on Friday. If you're watching this on the computer and you were not here on Friday, you can see the class recap from Friday here on our class website. After recapping, we had an interactive look at Homer's Mediterranean, which details Odysseus' journey from Troy here back to Ithaca here. As we said, after he took off from Troy, he was blown off course by one of Zeus's nasty storms, because remember, Zeus is the god of the sky. So the Greeks often blamed particularly nasty storms on Zeus. So this storm blew him off course, and Odysseus and his men landed in the land of the Lotus Eaters, which is what we read about on Friday. From there, they went on to the land of the Cyclops, where they met Polyphemus, and the story we read today in class. So the last thing we did in class today was begin the story of Polyphemus, the Cyclops, and his encounter with Odysseus and his men. On our class website, if you click on the Odyssey, there's a page with all of the important things we need for the Odyssey in our class. One of those is an interactive graphic novel. We actually read from the textbook, as we always will. We read from the textbook first, but we'll use this as a tool to review because it kind of quickly lets us know what happened, so I can give you the basics of what we read in class today about Polyphemus and his meeting with Odysseus. So, like we said before, Odysseus' men landed on this beautiful, lush, green island where there's all these goats and sheep and all kinds of beautiful green foliage. It looks like a really pleasant place. They come to a cave here that looks like someone's home. And so they come into this home and see that there's pens for sheep, there's all kinds of cheese and food and milk and things to be eaten. And so they say, okay, we could use some of this stuff, and Odysseus' men want to take these things and get back on the ship and get the heck out of town. But Odysseus is curious. He wants to see what sort of giant creature lives here. As you can see, there's giant stools and things, so they know some kind of giant creature lives here. And Odysseus, being the cocky warrior that he is, wants to see this giant for himself. And so they wait around, and in comes Polyphemus, this giant Cyclops, who comes in with his herd of sheep. Behind him, he closes the giant stone boulder that serves as his door, and so Odysseus and his men are trapped with this giant brute of a man. They tell him that they come as guests and ask him to treat them with respect, because as the gods ask that any guests be treated with honor and respect, and Polyphemus laughs at them and says he does not fear the gods. Not only does he not fear the gods, but he proceeds to grab a couple of Odysseus' men, bash their brains out, and begins to eat them. And Odysseus and his men can do nothing but look on with helpless horror and know that they are trapped, and any one of them could be next. Odysseus quickly realizes that attacking the giant would do no good, because they would not be able to move the boulder even if they could defeat the giant, and so they are effectively trapped at the giant's mercy.